My name is Kerrie, and my goal is to inspire healing and meaning in all areas of life. In this podcast, we will dive deep into conversations. From heartbreak to freedom, we will explore different self-care modalities, learn to be the best expressions of ourselves, and to live with purpose. I'm here to offer my personal insights and to share my story in hopes that it will guide you on your path. This is Heal with Care, a journey of self-discovery. For many years, I had a deep fear of being seen. I always gravitated towards roles that kept me behind the scenes, behind the camera, behind the computer, but never in the spotlight. But that's beginning to change as I've started leading myself through the fear of being seen and into being visible. For as long as I can remember, I dreamed about being my own boss. I didn't need anyone telling me what to do. I was an independent person. With that being said, in every role that I've held, if you told me what you needed to be done, I'd find a way to make it happen. I never needed someone looking over my shoulder. Just give me a deadline, and if I have questions, I'll come to you. When it felt like the universe was nudging me, or more like pushing me to leave my city apartment, I resisted. Because leaving meant walking away from a full-time job and starting life all over from the ground up. But deep down, I knew this was an opportunity, a chance to build something new, something more heart-centered and meaningful. Something I would actually feel fulfilled doing. This was something I had dreamed of for years, but never had the courage to take that leap until about a year ago. Since moving, I've faced countless uncomfortable situations, each one a lesson preparing me for what's next. That first year felt like a crash course in what was to come, narrowing on what I truly wanted and why I was doing it. I know this because nothing seemed to go according to plan. I ran into setback after setback. I failed over and over again. And I went through painful relationships that left me questioning everything. I came so close to giving up, more times than I can even count. But then I made a choice and pivoted my ideas. Something I learned to do many times throughout my career. If my local community wasn't open to what I had to offer, I would pour my heart and soul into a community that would. I decided to take all of this online and finally decided to launch a podcast that I was being nudged to create for years. It is a space where I could share my story and help others around the world through my lived experiences. And if I couldn't find a space to host my sound baths in person, I would record them and share them online with the intention that it reaches those who would benefit from them. This became my doorway to being seen, without fully being seen. I wasn't completely visible, but my voice was out there. I shared my truth with vulnerability, showing others where I had fallen and how I managed to pick myself up time and time again. This wasn't easy, because once your story is out there, there's no going back. I've come to accept that putting yourself out there opens the gates to judgment from a wider audience. But I've made peace with that because I can only speak my own truth. And if that truth resonates with another being, if it makes one more person feel less alone, then it's all worth it. The past 2 weeks marked a major turning point for me. For the first time, I was stepping out as the face of my brand. I had decided last year that I was going to be a vendor at the Psychic and Wellness Fair, offering intuitive readings or energy healing services in person. This was a completely new environment for me. For years leading up to this, I had received multiple readings from very credible mediums telling me this is what I would be doing. And if only you could have seen my face and the disbelief that I had in it at that time. But this year, I knew I had to do it. And I had to do it where there was going to be no screen to hide behind. It was just going to be me. I would be opened and exposed. From the moment I signed up as a vendor, I was nervous. I barely ate or slept. I was so focused on planning. I missed 2 weeks of podcast episodes. And then I got sick from all of the stress. So, in my next episode, I'm going to share my experience with stress and burnout and why it's so important to set aside time for yourself and to focus on you. So, what happened? I had to design my booth layout, work through the fear of doing in-person readings, and adjust to the energy of a noisy event. It had been easy to connect with others online from the comfort of my own home, but doing this work in person with noise and movement all around me felt completely different. I didn't know what to expect. My first show as an intuitive reader was quiet. There was an ice storm that kept many people away, but I still had the opportunities to serve those who attended, and I learned something very powerful. Spirit shows up no matter where you are. Even though I was worried to be too distracted, I proved to myself that spiritual guidance can flow through any time and anywhere. I left feeling inspired and grateful to have shared messages to those who trusted me to do their reading. Since it was my first time and many of the other readers had been attending these shows for years, I felt so intimidated at first. But what I witnessed was the opposite of what I was used to in traditional work environments. There was a genuine sense of camaraderie. Each reader honored their own unique style, trusting that the right people would naturally be drawn to them. I didn't feel any animosity or jealousy, just pure support from everyone involved. This is what I love about spiritual spaces. The vendors have a deep trust in their work and understand that what's meant to happen will unfold. They're not afraid to support one another. I saw readers referring clients to others based on their specific needs with no pressure to make a sale. Everything was very intuitive. People were drawn to whoever they felt aligned with, and that was enough. At the heart of it, it was really just wonderful people helping each other. And that kind of energy is very unique and one of a kind. Needless to say, standing there, I was nervous the whole time. My heart would quicken, and I wasn't sure what messages Spirit would inspire me to offer. But as I began shuffling the cards, the words just started to flow, and I realized that I had done this many times before. The only difference was that I was face to face with someone, no longer protected behind a screen. My whole body was visible, and all around me, people were walking the venue, chatting and moving about. But the moment I started speaking, my confidence kicked in. I could feel exactly what Spirit wanted me to say, and I trusted it. Of course, I was tested from time to time, and I truly believe Spirit designed it in a way to check in on my integrity and give me something deeper to reflect on. Some people asked if I could tell them who their soulmates were or reveal details about their future and children's lives. And that's when I realized something important. I don't know what messages Spirit will bring through until I'm in the reading. There is no guarantee. If someone isn't meant to know something yet, Spirit won't reveal it. Hollywood really skewed the perception of psychics and readers. Those dramatic fortune teller stereotypes did a number on what people expect. But in my experience, Spirit shows me what's currently in your energy field. It brings forward a new perspective, something you may not have even seen clearly before. We all have free will and the power of choice. A reading isn't a be-all and end-all. It's meant to empower you, to help you make more confident decisions. It can highlight the energy surrounding your choices, but it will never tell you exactly what to do. That part is entirely up to you. At the next event, I was offering energy healing sessions. I wasn't sure how it would be received, especially since my style is very unique. I incorporate crystals and sound bowls into my sessions, which makes for a different experience than traditional Reiki. But to my surprise, people loved it. They referred their friends, offered beautiful feedback, and I made some amazing connections. Even other vendors I had just met were sending people my way. They genuinely saw the value in what I was offering. I have to admit, I struggled at first to find the right words to explain my services. I hadn't really had to explain them to anyone before, but by the end of the first day, I started to find my flow. Most of my Reiki sessions had been online or in person with people already familiar with energy work. So this was different. This was a crowd filled with openness and curiosity, and it required a whole new level of articulation. At one point, someone came by who clearly wasn't interested in energy healing, but more in challenging me and my services. Their energy was angry and intense. They bragged about how they had taken down many Reiki masters before and tried to intimidate me. I was completely caught off guard. This was my first time encountering something like this. I know it will stay with me for the rest of my journey. They were sarcastic and mocked my pricing and demanded that I prove my healing abilities by reading their energy. I was confused and thrown off, but in that moment, I realized something powerful. I have nothing to prove. This energy doesn't come from me. It comes from Source. It's a universal healing energy that I have access to, and so do many other people. It's not my energy. It simply gets channeled through me during a session. As I reflected on this situation, this was someone who was deeply hurt, projecting their pain and beliefs onto me. And yes, for a moment, it made me question everything I was doing. Who am I to do this work? Do I run and hide? Do I make myself small? Or do I stay grounded in what I know to be true? I chose to stand in my power, grounding in everything I've learned up until this point. Because my beliefs are rooted in my lived experiences and I've witnessed firsthand the transformations my services have brought to others, I'm not here to promise a complete cure for what you're facing, but I'm here to hold space, to support you, and to witness the emotional shifts that unfold as you move closer to alignment with your true self. I recognize that this person was not my client. They weren't seeking healing, they were seeking control. And though the experience shook me for 5 to 10 minutes, it also became a defining moment in my life. I could see their pain had nothing to do with me. All I could offer was compassion for where they're at on their journey. As I came back to myself and stayed true to my soul's calling, I felt like Spirit was testing my beliefs. Do I fully trust the work that I am doing here? These past few weeks were life-changing for me. I had the courage to do something that completely scared me, and I am now walking out on the other end, more confident than I ever had felt before. Yes, it felt scary and I was nervous, and that's because I didn't know what to expect. I went into this venture with the best of intentions, and all I can say is that the results speak for itself. What I do know is that I am proud of myself. I was filled with so much gratitude from the organization and the people who had the booths next to me and the other vendors who showed me so much support. When I think about the first podcast episode I ever recorded, I can already feel the transformation taking place. Speaking my truth has allowed me to stand more firmly in my power, to know who I am, what I believe, and where I stand. Every day, I build more confidence as I face what scares me. So many times I've hidden away and shied away from being seen. But now as I step into the light, it feels completely different. I never thought I would walk through this, but here I am. And I've heard this before and I never believed anyone else, but I'm telling you, if I can do it, so can you. When something feels scary or impossible, when you're standing there with fear in your eyes, unsure of how to overcome the obstacle in your path, take action. Lead yourself through it. Go through the motions, and you'll be so glad that you showed up. It may not go exactly as planned because it seems like nothing ever does, but you'll learn so much along the way. I spent so much time focusing on getting every detail perfect, but I've realized that I need to be more flexible and less rigid. As a Virgo rising, I tend to obsess over the finer details. Now I understand that I don't need everything to be exact. I can go with the flow and everything will work out as it should. Thank you so much for listening in. I hope you found this episode insightful. If you feel called to, please share this podcast, subscribe to it, and leave a rating and review. If you have any questions, comments, or feedback, you can email me at healwithcare@gmail.com or follow me on Instagram at healwithcare. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next episode.